Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be doing a group review of all of the Season 1 Beast Wars characters. So we got Optimus Primal, Rattrap, we got Dinobot, Rhox, Cheetah, Gigatron, and AirRazer in the back. So these characters were introduced during like the 90s, during like their own show called Transformers Beast Wars, or Beasties if you're in Canada, which is weird, but hey. So like these were like made after like well, I wouldn't say the failure, but like the not as great financial success that was G2. So they decided to let the brand rest and give it a big reinvention with beast modes. Instead of just car that turns into robot, it is now animal that turns into a robot. So, and it was arguably one of the like great revivals of the franchise. Like, well, one of the first actually, because after this then came the like Bayverse movies, but I'm mixed on those. Like, they're fine, but they've not really aged well in my mind. But yeah. So okay. So we'll start off with, we'll go from like smallest to biggest because we have a lot here. So we got like one core class, two deluxes here, and the rest are Voyagers. So we will start with good old Rattrap here. And let me get everyone out of frame, just to make sure the camera doesn't freak out or anything. So here we have Rattrap in his, well, rat mode. And he was the like small like comic relief of the group, like him and Cheetah for some episodes. So, and like he's the one who his most famous quote is, "We're all gonna die." Like, he was the depressing like one. He wasn't really the optimist of the group, and like he just wanted to survive and get back home, because the entire premise of Beast Wars is that they crash on like a prehistoric planet and, well, adopt beast modes because it's the only way to survive. So yeah, I really like a really good robot mode. Like, he is pretty much just solid besides the ball joints here at the back, which become his robot feet. And the only storage for his weapon here is just on the side here, which is like the gap that they need to for like molding in a ball joint like spot. And so it does tab in if you just wanted to store it. But anyway, on to the transformation. So to start off with, just untab the entire back of the rat hide and bring it up. Just like that. Straighten out the arms and then bring out the legs on the two ball joints that they are on. So rotate them like that, bring them forward, and then untab the legs from the sides and bring them out. Just like that. Bring it all forward. Orientate the feet on the ball joints. Then bring the feet themselves forward. Use the double hinge back here, bring this up. Rotate the head down into the chest, and while, like, before you fully bring it down, just turn the head around, just like that. And bring it up, and then untab the shoulders from the tabs here. Bring them up, rotate them down, and then rotate these forward. Do the same on the other side. Just like that. And then to deal with the backpack, just bring this up and fold this down and around, and then just put it all back here. And there we have Rattrap in his robot mode. And it is essentially just a man that came out of a rat. Like, honestly, I grew up with Beast Wars, so honestly, the designs here are just really nice. And as you can see here, he has little Maximal logos imprinted on both of his arms, just like he did in the show. So you can give him his gun, which does post right there. And honestly, for being like one of the first core classes, because Kingdom was when he was introduced, is when all of these like updated Maximals were introduced. He is really good. Like, he's pretty much all ball joints except for like a rotation here at the head, but it is really clever in my opinion. Like a great little like pocket toy. So for articulation, I already mentioned he has the rotation at the head. His shoulder is on a ball joint, but it is like kind of like the Megatron figure that I reviewed a while ago, where like he can't really move his arms back at all. That again, even if the like arm was just like normal, you couldn't really do that anyway because of the kibble back here. So his arms can like go all the way around and can go forward, but like no backwards. But yeah, he does have a ball joint at the elbow, so you can get a bit over 90 and a full rotation. No waist swivel. But he does have ball joints at the hip, which can go forward that far and can go back about that far. He does have a ball joint at the knee, so he can get a bit over 90 and use it as a rotation. And then there's the second ball joint, which can come a bit loose, and then you can break his leg. But if you want to use it as a double joint, you can. And he just has a ball joint at the ankle. So yeah, honestly, a really good start when it comes to the Beast Wars like updates. So next we have is Cheetah, which was kind of like the Bumblebee of the group, basically like the massive like kid appeal character. And honestly, like it kind of worked, but then again, he was also the arrogant, like thinking he knows it all but still needs to learn and grow sort of like character. So yeah, like he is here in like a mustard-esque yellow, kind of like with the hints of blue sticking out because these become like parts of the robot mode. But it is surprisingly good how self-contained. Like you can't really see that much like robot kibble on this. Like if you had told me this was just like a regular Cheetah figure, I'd honestly believe you. But yeah, so for articulation, he has nothing at the head, but the mouth can open. So if you want him like growling, kind of like that, then you can do it. But yeah, he does have a rotation here at the shoulder, and also it's on a ball joint, so you can move it forward and back, or just like rotate it. He does have a hinge here, it can only go that far, and the paw here is on a ball joint. So for his back legs, they can go back and rotate outwards. Like these become the robot mode's legs, so if the articulation seems familiar when we get to robot mode, it's because of that. But his leg can move forward and back like that, and the paw back here is on a ball joint as well. So yeah, and his tail does nothing because it becomes his weapon. So yeah, like really good like Cheetah mode. Like honestly, I'm a bit surprised that this figure got complaints, but then again, I think it's mostly because of the robot mode, which we will get into now. So to start off with, remove the tail, because it becomes this like tail whip axe thing. It's honestly not that good. But yeah, so continue on, bring down these legs, and then bring out the feet. Just like that, and then fold up these paws here. And there you have the lower half. So just bring down the upper legs, and then split it down the middle. Just like that. Bring the arms forward and out of the way, and open up the mouth. So when you bring this up, you can accordion it in so to make sure that this tab goes into the slot that's in the mouth here. Just like that. Bring these panels forward to go around, and then we can bring the head up and around just like that. Bring the arms down, right hand forward, and rotate the fists. Do the same thing on the other side. And here we have Cheetah in his robot mode. And honestly, for like, he does have a Netflix repaint, which is better, like in coloration. Like it replaces like the blue with like a metallic blue and has like some of his gold accents, which is what he had in the show. But honestly, I'm kind of happy with this. Like this is how I honestly like remembered Cheetor like being in my like when I remember watching the show. So yeah. It does suck though that he doesn't come with a blaster, but if you did get the red figure of Cheetor, like I got this. Like this is the blaster that came with that one. There are upgrade kits that you can get online. I'm pretty sure DNA Designs made one, but honestly, it just fits. So if you want to give him a gun, then honestly, I do recommend like honestly, I just found this like loose, so I just got it just for Cheetor here, and honestly, it's really nice. But you can also give him the tail whip accessory, which is awkward to pose because like if you wanted like attacking forward like that, it makes sense, but the blade is on the back side. But if you wanted to act like an X, it's well, a bit ineffectual. But yeah, so let me get these out of the way. So for articulation for Cheetor, he has a ball joint at the head, so it can look around and can look up really far, like, which is really nice. He does have a butterfly joint. It's mostly due to transformation at the shoulder, which is really nice. And if you use the butterfly joint, you can get the full range out of the arm, which is really nice. And they can do a full rotation. It's just that they also get blocked by these back here. Also, if you notice the internal detail here, it looks just like it did in the animation model, which is really nice. He does have a bicep swivel, a little bit over 90 degrees of bend, and a wrist swivel, which is really nice. He does have a waist rotation, and for some reason I don't know why it can do this. Maybe it's to accommodate more articulation at the hips, because I mean, it doesn't really change all that much. Like, if you just want it going fully straight, then you have to move the hip thing, but yeah. So yeah, like you can't really move the legs back, annoyingly, but he does have a little bit under 90 at the knees and a like thigh swivel. The feet can move forward and back thanks to transformation, and he has 90 degrees of bend at the knee, at the ankle. So yeah, for being the young like kid appeal character, kind of like Bumblebee, he was honestly like really nice. Like I kind of like found him like funny because he was also paired with like Rattrap for a lot of his stuff, like obvious cat and mouse jokes being made. So, and speaking of Rattrap, let's bring him back in for a size comparison. Also, he's a bit annoyingly hard to stand because of his small feet, just like that. So, I'm just going to use a stand to hold him up. So, there we go. Honestly, really nice. So, next figure. Let's go... Let's go with Rhox, which he's arguably the most divisive figure of this entire like set, because his transformation is just bad. Like it's like there's no getting around it. Like both modes are fine, but getting the mode like each way sucks. Like he's basically just a brick. Like he has ball joints back here for the back legs, and like the arms here can move forward and back and move inward because this is just the arm and rotate. But yeah, the head has nothing. It can open its mouth and scream because that's what Rhox does. Yeah. But yeah, Rhox is meant to be like the scientist of the group, but also considering just how big he is and the fact that he turns into a rhino, he's also kind of the bruiser of the group, like with like twin chain guns and everything. And it is just kind of disappointing how they did that for this guy. Like, I only really got him to complete the set, but honestly, I recommend trying to hunt down the Thrilling 30 version of this guy, because that one is technically more animation accurate and just looks better. But yeah, let's just get this over with. So yeah, first things first, bring the arms out, and then open up these panels to get the fists out, just like that. Just like that. Bring them down, bring these forward, and there we have the arms all done. So, and then also just while you're back here, just remove the two weapons he has, just split them apart. They just like fit into these like little ports here on like the thighs. And these are meant to be his chain guns, which are meant to be a bit bigger than this, than essentially just a pizza cutter. This is disappointing. So, and then, yes, the legs. So to start off with, just bring these panels up, and then split them apart. Then bring all that out. Like that. Tab the like hind quarter parts, and then just bring them down. Just get them out of the way. I always forget how the hell to do this, because this transformation just sucks. Like, and then also just fold the like legs in like that. Oh yeah. Gotta bring this part up and down. Just like that. And then you can bring down the entire leg. Also, just pull that out, bring that down, just like that. Bring this around. Do it on the other side. Come on. Come on. My frustration should be evident. God. Okay. Then just bring this entire thing back here, and then you'll be able to get the shoulder parts out. Just like that. Now, make sure that these little panels here go up, just like this. Like that, bulk them out. You just bring this entire thing down here. And then, after fixing up everything, because this guy's panel hell, there is one bit of satisfying transformation that I like. Bring this down, bring out these panels, and then boom, you have the chest plate, which is supposed to replicate, or this is supposed to be like the bottom jaw of the Rhino mode, even though it's right here. And from what I've seen, you can take this part off and then flip it around to more replicate the top part of the jaw. And honestly, I might just leave it like that, because this transformation just sucks. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. The leg transformation specifically, it gets in its way too much. Like, it could have been so much simpler, but honestly, for this robot mode, I do kind of like it. Like, it does... like, it doesn't fit the proportions of the animation model, like, by much, but it does fit the vibe in my head, but he is very awkward. But yeah. So for articulation, he does have a ball joint at the head, and this is really expressive. And I think, no, he doesn't actually. I honestly thought that he had like Maximal logos on his head, but I think that might be something that like the premium finish version of this figure, because all these figures that I'm reviewing got a premium finish version, which is essentially just Takara just doing the paint better and more animation accurate. So if you want to go for those, I honestly do recommend these. These are all the original Kingdom releases. So yeah. So for the arms, the shoulders can go out that far and can rotate all the way. He also has a butterfly joint due to transformation, which is surprisingly nice. He does have a bit under 90 degrees of bend at the elbow and a bicep swivel, but nothing at the wrist. He does have a limited waist swivel, which is fine. His legs can go back, like all the way. It's just that you have to move them out of the way of the backpack, like that. And then can go forward that far. Legs can go a bit over 90 degrees, which is surprisingly nice. And he does have ankle like pivot, and he can move his foot back. So yeah. And for his accessories, which are the flat blades here, these are meant to be like chain guns. Like they're meant to be a lot bigger. It's just that they look small and dinky, which sucks. And honestly, I don't prefer displaying this guy with these. There is storage for them, like on the back here. So if you just want them out of the way and just have them standing there, like with his like arms crossed, honestly, I'm probably going to do that for when I put this guy back on my shelf. Because he could have been good. It's just that it's a bit disappointing. So yeah. So for size comparisons, here we have him next to Cheetah and Rattrap. Obviously the big bruiser of the set, as I said. So yeah, so our next bot will be the one who joined the last in the first few episodes. That being good old Dinobot. And Dinobot's character is praised as honestly one of the best that came out of Beast Wars, and honestly, I have to agree. Like, the whole fact that he once was a Predacon and then switched over to the Maximals after being essentially kicked out and growing as like a character and as a person, basically trying to save the future and all that was like really nice. And also he had a really good rapport with Rattrap, which ironically is a bit funny to me because I think they both had the same voice actor. So it was just the voice actor talking to himself. This is what I find like immensely funny. So yeah, here he is in his Velociraptor mode, and it's trying. Like the previous two bots hid their robot kibble a bit better. Well, better, but as you can see, his legs are just there, which sucks, but hey, they have to go somewhere because, well, they just gotta. Yeah. For articulation, he has no, like, turning or anything at the head. He can only really look down, and even then, it's for transformation. But he can open his mouth and, like, scream at you. Also, he has a spring-loaded joint in his, like, throat for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, also the arms can do a full 360, hinge out that far, have it on another hinge, and the final claws are on a ball joint. And these claws are not good. I do not know why. They just go at a 90-degree angle. Like, why? So yeah, the legs do have a rotation, kind of, and his legs can go forward that far and only back that far. Claws here can move, and they're on a swivel, and they can hinge downwards. And nothing at the tail because this becomes an accessory. So yeah. Let's get on to transformation. So first things first, rip off his tail. And then split it apart. And then just remove the sword. So here he is his sword and his shield. Because you're not going to get that much coverage with this thing. Like, I know it did spin in the show, but it just seems kind of dumb. But hey, I love it. So to start off with, just tab in the arms here. Use the tab right here into the underside of the claws. So just get those out of the way. So bring these, like bring the sides up, and then you can untab the legs all down. And then because they're just like clipping on like here and then tabbing into the like back of the body here. So just bring this forward and then bring it down. And there we have it all separated. So I'm just going to clean up the legs, bring these feet forward, close up the calves, which surprisingly have a lot of like cool like molded detail inside, which you never get to see besides like just transforming it. And then bring out the heels, just like that. And then also bring the head down. Rotate all this. Then untab the back where the tail was. Bring it all back. Make sure that it tabs into place right here. And then use this tab here to plug it into the back of the Velociraptor head, which will solidify all of it together. And now we just clean up the backpack by bringing the tail down. And these two tabs and the tabs on either side go into this slot here, just so we can get the backpack all straightened up. Okay, and then fold these panels forward. Leave these arms up. Now just bring down these panels so they fit across side by side of the torso, and then just tab in the dino arms to these to fill in these like chest bits here. You just use this slot here into this tab here. So just like that, and then bring down the arms, rotate them forward, bring all this forward, just configure it all like that. Do the same thing on the opposite side. And here we have the iconic Dinobot in his robot mode. And it is honestly a mini masterpiece. Like, they took the details, like, so I think some of the transformation steps from the Masterpiece release and just sort of like dumbed it down for this. And honestly, it is really impressive what they were able to do. Yeah, sure, he is a bit gappy here, and you can kind of see the regular eye of the Velociraptor head, which does become the chest, which is really impressive. Because in the animation model, the raptor head would just like flatten out and then become his chest, which honestly is really clever what they were able to do here. But you do see these like side panels like on the Velociraptor mode, which does suck, but hey, I don't mind it. If we get like a beautiful robot mode like this, to have like some sacrifices in like the animal mode, I do not mind it. So yeah. For his accessories, since he obviously doesn't have any like traditional 5mm ports in his hands, he does have some right here. So you can't just plug it in like this, make it look like he's holding it, and boom, he has his sword, which from what I understand is technically incorrectly colored, but due to like the animation model looking kind of purpley chrome, it's meant to look like that. I think they might correct that for the like premium finish release. I don't remember. And you can just plug in the shield into the hand, and then there you go. And you kind of replicate the gimmick here just by rotating like the wrist. But if you just don't want the shield, you can just fold it back up and just plug it back in back here just to store it. So yeah. Honestly, he's a really good figure. It's just that there are some weird QC issues, like his like waist swivel is like really rattly. It's like even that on like another copy that I have, which is weird, but yeah. Also on specifically this version, the Kingdom version of Dinobot, like the thigh swivels are really tight to the point where I'm worried about like breaking them. Like I worry about this. Like, it is nice to have like tight joints, but like tight to the point where I risk like breaking it is worrisome to me. But yeah. Also, just to finish up down by the legs, his legs can go forward that far, can go back not that far, do the full splits. As I said, he does have like a full thigh rotation. It's just that it's super tight. He does have 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and he does have 90 degrees of bend at the ankle, and his toe can point down due to transformation, which is really nice. So, and back up here, he has a really expressive ball joint at the head, which is really cool. And his shoulders can move up and down that far, and he has the traditional shoulders here, and can do a full rotation, bicep swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, wrist rotation, wrist hinge, and the claws can open. So yeah, that was Dinobot. And let me bring in the other characters. Just let me get this guy stable. So he was meant to be like the like rogue knight of the group, kind of. Like, well, he was like meant to be like the Wolverine of the group, like just challenging all the orders given and then trying to do things his own way, like not like Starscream, but more so just like challenging leadership, being like a rebellious little raptor. So here we have with the rest of the crew so far. And next we have the main leader, which is the like final like component of the like season 1 episode 1 or episode 2 like cast, which being Optimus Primal. That being an obvious play on Optimus Prime, who is the leader of the Autobots in the G1 show, and Primal, where, well, this is all Beast themed, so I feel like it's kind of appropriate. Well, I wouldn't say he was that different from Optimus Prime, but like he was like a stern leader where like needed to be, but acting like a mentor to his troops and such, especially against like Megatron, which is just Megatron. Well, not G1 Megatron, but a Megatron named after the original Megatron. It's a bit confusing, but hey, here he is in his monkey mode, and honestly, it is really good. Though I do recommend getting the premium finished version because, well, as I say, that one is just more accurate all across the board. Also, this is the only way to store the swords, so they just like tab into the sides here. So just get that out of the way. So yeah. Like he hides his robot mode pretty well. There's obvious feedback here and some poking out of like the robot mode, but hey, it's pretty cool. His head can rotate side to side and look up that far and down. He does have like his arms are pretty much the robot mode like articulation, so just like can do the full 360, can go out that far, and has a bicep swivel, over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow and a wrist, and opening hands, which is really nice. He doesn't really have a waist swivel because then you start, well, revealing stuff. His legs can move forward and back. It's just that, well, they're meant to be in this monkey mode, and his like feet have articulation, so you can move them down, but I rarely do because I tend to forget that they're there. So yeah. So there we go. Let's get on with transformation. So to start off with, get the arms in place, bring up the shoulders, and then it's like the shoulders pads just like click in place. So just bring the arms down, straighten them out, and then straighten the legs out, and make sure that the legs tab into the knee spot here. And then bring down the feet, make sure that these click into place. Rotate this, bring it up and rotate it around, and then tab it into place. Bring this up, rotate all of it around, and then we bring all of this back, rotate this around, bring it down, and then that, and then flip the chest plate around, bring this all forward, and there we have Optimus Primal in his robot mode, and it is really cool having an updated version of this character because, well, this is technically like my Optimus Prime. Because, like, as I said, like, I grew up with Beast Wars, and, well, my dad showed it to me, and well, this is kind of like my gateway into it. So it was, like, really nice seeing updated versions of these characters. So, yeah. And he does have a lot of his, like, original like gimmicks. So you can press these buttons here, which do deploy blasters in the wrists, and these are blast effect compatible. Like you can do it on both sides. And also, these are meant to be like his thrusters that he had, like because he had a jetpack in the show. So, and also, you can bring this alt back and then flip out. Honestly, it's just better untransforming it so you can get your finger in there. Just like that. You can get his like shoulder rocket cannon things that he had as well. And these are also blast effect compatible. Or, as I showed earlier, you can use the swords, which can tab into his back for storage. And he can reach them, I think. Yep, he can. So, you just have him going full on monkey attack, which is really cool. Also, I think you can, like, I think he did like a double bladed thing. Like, I just need to move the hand up a bit, and then you can just slide it in and never mind. I don't think you can do, like, if you hold it, like, if you get it, like, just right, you can do the dual blade holding thing that you can do, which is pretty cool. But honestly, I just tend to leave these on the back and just have them doing the old classic heroic, like, hands on hip thing. It was really nice. But yeah, so for articulation, he has a ball joint at the head. He does have a waist rotation. His arms can do the full 360 and do a full 360 at the bicep, over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, wrist swivel, hands can open and close. Also, something I forgot to mention in monkey mode, he does have a butterfly joint, which is really nice. His legs can go forward that far, can go back that far, does have a thigh swivel. His legs can go 90 degrees, but if you do untab them, you can get a bit more. Basically, full double joint. Also, there's a calf swivel? I don't understand this. And also, he has some ankle pivot. Not much, but it's there. Let me bring everyone back in for size comparison. So here we have the entire season, like first episode season 1 cast. But during the events of season 1, there were 2 additions made to the cast. But due to budget, they couldn't, well, they had to 3D model everything, so they couldn't add that many characters, even though the toy line had a lot of original characters. So the first character that they added was, correct me if I'm wrong, well, actually, one second, let me look it up. Okay, well, I couldn't find like conclusive evidence because it's been a while since I watched the show, but I think it was Gigatron that was introduced first, which basically is, let me get everyone out of the way, was an upscale of the original Cheetah model, but slightly different in alt mode. So you'll see a lot of like familiar elements here because he is basically this but bigger, because well, a lot of the engineering and like transformation is based off of that figure, but they obviously took the time to conceal a bit more of the like alt mode and like add some articulation. But do note, because this is the original Kingdom one, there was some problems because as you can see here, there is some discoloration. That is due to just time, annoyingly, because he does yellow, which does suck, but hey. Also, due to him being a Voyager, instead of just having just the tail whip here, he also gets the gut gun, which is what I forgot to also tell the name of. Like, it's also the same thing as like Cheetor's blaster here, but like these are meant to be like the guts of the cheetah for some reason, because I think on the original toy it's stored inside the figure. But hey, I don't mind it. But hey, just for so here he is in his like white tiger mode. Really good. His mouth can open, and his like front legs have the pretty much the same articulation. It's just that He also has like a paw like rotation here along with the ball joint, like, which is pretty cool. Same articulation here back, just like on Cheetah. Move forward, and the same thing like on the front paws, he does have a hinge there. So yeah. So that's pretty much all the articulation he has in beast mode. Let's get him to robot mode. First things first, rip off the tail. Also, I forgot to mention, he does have 5mm ports on his belly, so you can't just plug in the gun, which looks weird, but hey. So yeah, straighten out the legs, and then bring out the feet. Fold in these panels here, then bring up the feet back here. Bring them down, and then make sure to bring out these heels here, which are really nice. So it's like that. Bring down the legs. Split everything down the middle. Get everything out of the way. Bring all this out of the way and down. Open up the face here, and then bring up the head. Make sure this tab here goes into this slot. And then there's everything locked into place. Rotate these arms up, and fold the sides here to cover everything. Bring the arms down, use a double hinge to bring them out, rotate them forward. Do the same thing on the other side, and then just clean up the back legs here. And there we have Gigatron in his robot mode. And as I said, it's basically just an upscale of Cheetah with some extra parts, as you can see. So yeah, he also has like a lot of the same articulation and such. So he just has a like ball joint at the head, which just acts as a swivel. His arms are on butterflies, but due to how tight they are, they do sometimes take the side panels with them. So full rotation here. Arms can almost go all the way up, assuming you get them around some pieces. Bicep swivel, double jointed bend at the elbow, wrist swivel, which is really nice. And he does have a waist rotation. The front of the hip skirt is, while it is pinned on, it doesn't move, which is weird. Why it makes me wonder why it moves on the Cheetah version. So the legs can go forward that far. You can move the butt panel though, so you can go all the way back. He does have a thigh swivel. Legs can go out that far. He does have a little bit under 90 at the knees. Feet can go forward and back due to transformation. Ankle tilt is over 90, which is really nice. And honestly, he's a really good figure, but he is a bit hampered by the fact that my copy was affected by the yellowing this bad. Like, it does suck, but hey, I can live with it. So yeah, you can equip the tail whip and the gun, which is actually pretty cool. So, and now let's review his partner in crime, AirRazer, which is the same mold as the Skywarp that I reviewed back in the Beast Wars, like, Neo, or Beast Wars 2 review that I did a little bit ago. So it's just the exact same transformation, same articulation, same accessories. It's just that it's a different paint scheme and such, and a different robot head. So, yeah, is her, like, head on the, like, bird mode can do a full rotation. Go down that far, mouth can open. Wings are movable on pins here. Feet can move forward and back and are on ball joints, and that's really it for bird mode. So yeah, let's get this transformation started. So I'm just going to compact the wings already. This is the same transformation, so I'm just going to rush through it. So, because if you want to go see the transformation for this like mold, honestly, I recommend watching my Beast Wars Neo review. So there we go. And I think this was a mode that was like advertised where you can do this like this. I don't know why, but you can. It mystifies me a lot. So yeah. Okay. There we go. Here we have her in her robot mode. And it's honestly a really nice robot mode. Like, I feel like while it works for the Skywarp version of the mold, I feel like it works a lot better here. Especially because it was designed for her. So, yeah. Here she is next to her partner. And I think it was pretty much confirmed that they were... I think it's just been fan canon for a while that these two were essentially lovebirds because they went on their own for the longest period of time. So yeah. So also she has the same exact articulation as the Skyward version. Honestly, I recommend going and checking out that one for all the all the things that I talk about with that mold. So let me get everyone back into frame. And then we can do a big old size comparison with these versions with the entire season 1 cast, which is honestly it's really cool to have for me. Like, I don't have the entire season 1 cast of the Predacons. Like, it's pretty much just a mishmash that I have for them, but I am happy to have all of these guys. So there we have everybody. And it's honestly really cool. Also, quick size comparison between my previous Beast Wars review. Here we have Skywarp, which is the exact same size as AirRazer, just different colors, different head. Here we have Leo Prime with everyone in the back, a bit taller than Optimus Primal, but hey. Of course. And now we have Tasmania Kid. So yeah, let me just get all these guys out of the frame, and then I can do with final thoughts. Because, honestly, I do recommend hunting down these molds, I should say. Because there are better versions of these guys, especially because Takara and their infinite madness of just repainting everything. I know this is awkward, but I don't have the ability to edit this stuff out. So just stay. Just want a good, like, final group shot here. Okay, there we go. So that was everyone from the Maximal side of the Season 1 Beast Wars cast. And honestly, as I said, I do recommend getting all of these molds. But honestly, I recommend hunting down to Takara Premium Finish versions because, well, for one, they're the newer, more cartoon accurate versions of these molds, and they also come packed with the, like, their Decepticon, or not Decepticon, Predacon counterpart, kinda. Like, in some cases, it doesn't really make that much sense, but hey, I don't mind it. It allows people to get the molds again if they wanted it. And honestly, their paint schemes are just superior. But hey, I am happy to have the entire cast together like this. So that has been me signing out. But I hope that you have a good rest of your day. I also have a bunch of other reviews on the channel if you want to check them out. I do also have a Patreon just to help keep the lights running around here. And honestly, like, comment, subscribe, and have a good rest of your day. This is me signing out. Goodbye.